people get ugly. I just want us all to continue to come to events. Continue to share the dream. Continue to be friends. Again, I love you all, and if you need anything, please don't hesitate to look me up. Drogo and Killaselder, Mundaley, Brandon Sartain. Love you guys.
Love you.
Elizabeth.
What's up? I'm Elizabeth O'Regan. Y'all might know me too. I don't have a theater degree, so I'm not going to be as eloquent as Drogo. Point one that I needed to make regarding the time to peerage, the Pelicans specifically, that is my fault. I got my AOA at 13 years old. I got my Pelican last year. That's a 30-year span. I ruined the curve on that.
Not alone.
I don't know what the numbers are if you take me out.
It's not just you.
But it's me. Like, sorry about that. More importantly, though, the point that I needed to make, as far as we're all going to come together, we need to do this. A large part of the problems that we've been having across the board is a lack of transparency. And I understand that there are legal requirements that the board is bound to, that they can't share. I know that the peerages are bound to secrecy within their order as far as polling and being discussed, relatively. And I'm not asking that any of those things be violated at all. But we need to be clear and we need to be upfront when we're discussing things and discussing problems and not have things seem to the average person like some shady backdoor dealing. We really need to be sure that everybody knows as much as they can so that everybody feels like they're a part of it and that they can have an informed opinion coming into a meeting, having their remarks prepared, having time to think on the subject, instead of just, well, I guess maybe I think of this right this second. That's really what I'm doing.
I did that too.
Part of this whole discussion, people were upset, people were complaining on Facebook about the things that the polling orders look for. You know, what are their qualifications? What are the guidelines for the different orders? Because they're not codified in Kingdom law, they're not published. They've always just been kind of, kept up by the orders themselves. So we took that and actually got all of the polling orders in Meridies to gather up either their guidelines as they exist, completely rewritten new ones, or a publishable version, keeping out, trade secrets and things like that. And they've all been gathered and submitted to the Kingdom Webminister, and they're going to be published as part of the new Kingdom website, where anyone can go and read them and see. And I mean, it's not a checklist. It's not supposed to be a checklist. But it gives people a general idea of what's going on so that they can feel more informed and feel like they're more a part of things. And that's going to be critical even going forward now. You can't say, oh, all the peers are going to have a retreat and figure out the problem. Everything needs to be as transparent as possible. Keeping in mind that there are limitations, of course. To be able to make everyone feel like their voice is heard equally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hate that I'm standing up again.
You got two?
Two things. I know, I got two. We've met.
Yeah.
Just three things. So, along with what you were saying, yes, we do have to have a plan. So, does anybody have a plan how we're going to fix this yet?
Talk.
Eric, I just offered
Awesome!
myself.
Because I don't, but I want one.
I have
And
suggestions.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it for everyone, please. We had another contention pop up right here again. And math is hard. Barty says so, okay? Math is difficult. Statistics do not count. I thought I was going to say something amazing, and you blew me out of the water. Because starting at 87 and peering 11,
No,
you got
but
me. You got
the way
me beat.
statistics work, you guys don't count.
Right, but there's a lot of us.
Outliers don't count.
Stalinko of
But there
Car
are,
here.
yeah.
Anomalies don't.
But here's what I'm saying about anomalies.
Called out loud.
They're freaking mistakes. And we made one. And we're fixing it. Because we heard from you. And if we don't hear from you en masse, our average letter for a night's meeting that only happens 2 or 3 times a year is 2 or 3. That's all we're hearing. I want 50. I want to hear from everybody, please. Because we can't make an informed decision if we don't have the information. And you guys have the information. I can't watch everybody. I don't want to. I want to have fun here too. So, but please, do not fall into the old arguments after today. Because we had that contention come up. If anyone's ever had a stats class, you can make that say whatever you want it to. That is not relevant. Every one of us is an individual. We are all seen by others as an individual. And when someone feels like you deserve recognition, you should get it. Sometimes we make that happen the right way. Sometimes we don't. But there is no award in the society that is given. They are earned and they are received. Nothing is given. You guys have earned everything you've ever received, and some people haven't earned what they've received because they haven't yet been recognized, which is a word we use in the peerage quite a bit. If you feel someone hasn't been recognized, make us recognize them. Because we don't know if you don't tell us. Thank you.
Carl?
Again, a lot of you know me, some of you don't. I've been in this group for 60% of my life. I will never be a peer. I know this. My aim is not a peer. There's been a lot of talk about the responsibilities of peerage. There's also the responsibilities of the populace. We have responsibilities of our own to, as Eric said, let them know who we think is deserving. The big prize is not the ultimate. The big prize is to enjoy what we're doing, to have friends. I'm aiming this for my friends. The reason the board is here, you want to know the truth? I have no idea. I didn't follow any of this stuff that was going on Facebook. How many of you all didn't follow it also? How many of you all were blank about this? Yeah. Some of us, in a way, didn't care. Some of us are a little oblivious. Some of us didn't want to know. We would prefer to enjoy ourselves, have fun with the dream, the game, however you wish to call it. I know a lot of you people, I like a lot of you people, some of you I cannot stand. I know that some of you can't stand Dave. Yeah. I've been an associate 3 times. I wonder why. Some people thought I had something, some people didn't. 34 years I've been doing it. I'd like to keep doing this another 34 years. If I live that long. I want to see a lot of you around for these next 34 years. I want to see more people in this next 34 years. Thank you.
All right, Natalie.
I've been kind of quiet. I've been listening a lot. I've been learning a lot about your kingdom, and I thank you for your comments. I kind of wanted to tag on to that as someone who's not a peer, who's on the board. This solution is not just to be solved by peers. The solution needs to be found with everyone. Yes. Just because you're a peer doesn't mean you have the answer, and just because you're not doesn't mean that you don't. Right on. Everyone should aspire to peer-like qualities. That should be how we spend our time in the SCA. I go about my life with the thought of unconditional positive regard. And I know that might sound super cheesy, but basically what that means to me is someone says something to me and I'm gonna think that that comes from a place of positivity, and even if it's ugly, but it's coming from a place of love, or it's coming from a place of frustration, but also from love. So I would encourage you to try to delve deeper into those comments and approach that person and talk to them as hard as it is. Stepping away, like a lot of people have talked about. But have that unconditional positive regard, ask questions. The letters I have seen coming into the board are hideous. And it hurts. Not as a board member, I'm one of 7 people who have the privilege of doing this job. I can't do it alone. But when you see those letters and they're just, you're so angry. You're so angry. You're angry at each other, you're angry at us. I really want you to start asking questions and stop being angry. It's hard. It's really hard to get over that. But I think that's where you need to go next, is to get rid of the anger, find that place of positive regard, and talk to each other. That's all. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Corbin.
For those of you that don't know me, I am Master Corbin. I am a member of the Order of Defense and the Order of the Pelican. We've heard a lot about what people love. Heard a lot of love in this room. I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I hate. I hate conflict, and I hate public speaking. Okay?
Whoa.
So for me to stand up and do this, that should tell you something. Because I am shaking up here. I'm nervous about having to say any of this to you guys. What I have seen is conflict, and it's hard. And one of the things that causes that is a lack of communication. Some of us are good at that, some of us are bad at that, but it has to be there. It's also a lack of trust. And I just got to ask you guys, whether you're peers, whether you're not peers, whether you're royalty, former royalty, I don't care who you are. Do you trust people to do the right thing for this kingdom and for each other? Because when I see people stand up and say, well, the peerages, it's some shady cabal that's just keeping everybody down, that they don't want to make new peers, they don't want what's best for the populace, that's a lack of trust. And that hurts me. If you don't trust me, I want to know why. I want you to come to me and tell me why you don't trust me to make decisions at a peerage level. I want you to come to me if you're a crown, and I want you to trust me that I want what, you might not agree with me, and that's fine, but I want you to trust me that I care about this kingdom and everybody in it. And at the same time, I'm going to offer you that trust back. I want to trust my crowns. I want to trust other peers. I want to trust the populace. If I can't do that, we have a problem. I think that if we're going to fix any of this, whatever needs to be fixed, we have to communicate and we have to trust. That's all I got.
They yield the floor to the ceiling so that we can get to Grandpa John sooner.
Grandpa John.
Okay. Still not up. Vasily is up next.
Right there.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vasily. Mundane, my name is Wesley Babb. My job in the mundane world is lead designer for programming company. My programming company is in every one of your pockets. Just to let you know the kind of impact my company has, because that's where I'm coming this from. One of the things that's been a big focus in my company is one word: diversity. That word in diversity is important for our company because it means if we include diversity of ideas, we include diversity of people, we increase our profits just by that one action by 20%. I want to see our dream grow. I want to see our dream live. I want to see it prosper. I want to be a part of that growth. One of the things about the diversity is because we come into this group with our biases. They're unconscious, and we do that. It's not anything bad. We have our friends. We like to hang around with them. Those friends and those people we hang around with become our tribe. To break down those tribes, to open up those lines of communications that the board is talking about, is we take deliberate action. My words today, I want to challenge each and every one of us to take deliberate choice to step outside of our biases and communicate, sit down, have a drink, have a conversation with somebody we don't know, with somebody outside of our friends. And I love you all.
Grandpa John.
30 seconds, John.
Time's
You
up.
need to stand up. Not standing quickly.
John, you're not being positive.
He's positive, he's standing up.
The end of all of the hand raising, because Vice Chair John St. Dennis is going to talk about your kingdom law. My job as president is to represent the legal side of the society. I'm going to give a 2-minute thing and then I'm done. So, this is a precipice. Up here, I'm going to blow this whole friggin'.
That's why we don't trust you.
Here's the precipice.
Yeah, I
This
can
is why
hold
we
it.
can't
I'm in
have
the
nice
middle.
things.
That is Meridies. You have come to the edge of the precipice. Oh my God. So, realistic. Hold the damn thing.
Love you, John.
John, you're losing your temper.
How many people look at the minutes of the society? You need to do that. Every quarter, 7 to 10 people get ejected from this organization. Look at the damn minutes. Now, Meridies isn't at that.
Bless you.
This board works their ass off to come here. Somebody in Reddit pissed off my lady. Said that this was another vacation for the board to come to Black Axe and do this because this is a free vacation. Okay, Natalie came from Maine. Spent last night in Charlotte.
It was lovely. I only saw the hotel.
In the airport terminal because her flight got
Oh
canceled.
no, I got a hotel.
She kept herself in a 3-bed hotel.
This does not fit on a seat. I need a bed.
John came from the West Coast.
He's got a cold.
Bart came in his little wagon across the SCA to come here. Vandy made a trip up from his state to make it. The board does not do this. This is not the board's tools. The board's tools are a very large boot or a very large hammer. Meridies is here, and the board gives a damn because they can't tell if there's any really horrible, non-recoverable stuff. So you get a chance. Or, if you don't, you can continue to hurt yourself and go by the way of Aitenvelt, who about 10 years ago had 8 people ejected. All years. It was horrible.
It was.
It was.
And 5 years before that, the Crown, the autocrats, the Kingdom Exchequer, the Kingdom Seneschal got a 2-year ejection because they couldn't get along. You have, I know, the board cares about you. There's no winning this argument. No winning. No side is right. There's no winning. Crowns have got to listen. Listen. Peers have got to understand that the crown makes decisions. And the populace, God help everybody if the populace washes their hands. Because all of us bigwigs, we're all doomed. So, don't go off this cliff. Because from now on, the board looks at this as ground zero. And whatever they get starts a complete new file. This will not be, we're going to let everybody go for a while. The next time Crown oversteps Kapora, it could be very bad. The next time a peer oversteps Kapora, it could be very bad. Take what this board is doing for you
and looking at what these people who work their butts off for no pay do. Look at all the people who work Troll, who built this site, who get up every morning and feed you and do all of this stuff and give money to the organization. Take this chance, because I guarantee you the board will not be so mindful if you go outside and just me, my. This is mine. You can't take it. This is mine. I get to do this. Take this opportunity, folks.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
All right, I've got a couple of things. Listen, I've been advised that we've got some children's activities that need parents.
So, our children's activities, our Minister of Children has done a wonderful job, but your children are spun and done. If you have children at children's activities, I suggest that you go and retrieve them.
Before they feed them chocolate.
Before the chocolate.
Or Mountain Dew.
I have a couple of wrap-up.
Oh yeah!
I have a couple of wrap-up things I'd like to say before we get into discussing Kingdom Law. First off, I heard a lot today that I was hoping to hear. As your ombudsman, as a member of the board, as a member of the SCN, I do hope you were listening to each other, to the crowns, to the heirs, to the peerage. What are you going to do if all those members who spoke so eloquently today walk with their feet? Think about it. I've seen it happen. I had to rebuild a barony where it happened. So think about that, please. I do have, and we have, some specific things about Kingdom Law that we'd like to discuss or just put out there. So before I go there, I just want to say, because we're gonna sort of go, hey guys, if we've been here 2 hours now. If you don't want to talk about Kingdom Law and you got other things you want to do, we understand that. But we are going to talk about it. I do want to point out that you have a regional vice president. The board has a huge amount of faith in him. Be careful. The vice chairman of the board is trying to steal him, just so you know. All right?
Crown has a lot of faith in it, too.
So, in your own bylaws, Kingdom Seneschal is described as being the supreme legal authority of the kingdom. Not the king. All right? The Seneschal is the supreme legal authority of the kingdom. Now, I asked for a clarification of that this morning, because that could be interpreted any number of ways. And what I was given is that he is the person who is responsible for clarification and interpreting Kingdom Law. So, Your Majesty, Your Highnesses, my recommendation to you is that you let this person pull together a committee to begin looking at your Kingdom Law. And we all have some suggestions to make, all right? But don't wait. Do not wait. Because if you do, then all of those regular members who spoke and put their hearts out to you today will indeed lose faith in you.
His Grace Blackmore, Graf Ulrich, and I have talked on several different occasions prior to this, and we wanted to go through this, but we've already talked about getting together and starting that process. So
Great.
we wanted to make sure that everyone heard this, and we went from there, but we've already started taking steps that direction.
Please include the populace.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The general populace, this is who it's for.
It's going to take a lot of people, not all peers, not all royals.
Right.
His Grace and I, over time, have been very communicative, and we're definitely on two sides of the view at times. But we communicate extremely well, and we've been very civil over the decades. So we would just touch base, make sure we understood things to say, and then start bringing in populace and people in all the different areas. And we want to make sure it's inclusive of across the whole area. It doesn't need to just be Tennessee, north of Alabama, or Atlanta, or the Panhandle. It needs to be a collective group that represents everybody. Yeah.
Thank you. Now then, for those of you who were, yes, Vandy.
So,
at this moment, some of us have sore butts. So if you aren't particularly ready to listen to John talk about kingdom law, or you are, please wiggle your butt a little bit, stay in your chair. If you are not, please take this opportunity to do as you must. Go, stay, whatever. Some of the other board members might want to join me out in the back if you want to have a conversation with us. We'll be hanging. But John has some specific suggestions for kingdom law, and we want to give those who are not interested at this moment the time to move. They're all interested. They're all interested. They're all interested.
Okay. Just so you know,
We may not be seeing eye to eye, but we love you.
okay, so here's the thing, just so you know, I have this reputation in nonprofits, and this is not the only nonprofit I've worked with in my life, when it comes to bylaw and bylaw revisions. I had nothing better to do on 7 hours of airplanes yesterday other than to go through your bylaws. So I did. And so there are just some things, and please, first off, these are not criticisms, all right? These are observations. So please do not take them as criticisms. But I think these are things that need to be looked at. First off, and the thing that grabs me most right away, is there is absolutely no mechanism for amending your bylaws. And I'm going to refer to your kingdom law as bylaws because that's what they are.
Amending.
All right? So I think you need to look at that, yes, by royal decree. And, you know, that's it. You know, so I think that needs to be addressed. The whole thing about your orders and who has the right, we've had a huge discussion about that today. The point of fact is that you are all operating on charters for your orders, but all of those charters are not official. You need to finalize those charters, get them to your bylaws group, your committee that's going to look at that, your team, all right, for the kingdom law changes, and go, this is where we think we need these things to fit in, right? They don't have to necessarily be hard-coded into the actual language of kingdom law. You can have a single statement that says, by incorporation, the following charters as Appendix A, B, C, D, all right, are incorporated into kingdom law. That will make it a little bit easier for you, if handled correctly, to make changes to them. Already covered that one. Curia. I'm curious about Curia. I understand the last one was held in 2010?
No, there's been one since then.
There has.
We had one, Wolfston or Kotla had one too.
All right, so one of the things that you could consider for your Curia is restructuring it a little bit. And as part of this, I'm going to suggest that whatever group of people you pull together to look at your kingdom laws and your bylaws and everything else to get things going again, takes a look at other kingdom laws. My experience is based on being a 30-year resident of the East Kingdom. And curias vary from kingdom to kingdom, but in a lot of kingdoms you will find